Oh, yes.
Where's Rachel? Where is she? Where'd you... Harvey? Where did you put her? Where did Harvey put Rachel? Hello. Hello. You're watching Nerdish. I lost my shoe. You gotta put your shoe back on. Very good. What are we doing here? Well, we do SAT, ACT prep for everyone. Yes, and the question is not where is Rachel, but when. 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's when Rachel is. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Watch it. Just see what it's like. It's for free. All week long. You can ask us questions like where's Rachel? And what you do with Rachel? And where is Harvey Dent? They're both studying for the SAT. It's a very important test if you want to go to college or university. Nice. I should have said university first because it rhymes. Oh, that's Catwoman. That's okay. I think we know Catwoman because we're Batmen. Let's do a problem. Yeah. We did exponents last time. What should we do? Let's factor a quadratic. Okay. Man, okay. When it comes to education, I'm an addict. Oh my god, but not that kind of addict. No, just a quadratic addict. I hope this is factorable. Oh, it's gonna be factorable. Add 6. Okay. 6 is for Rachel. Alright. Let's take out a 2. Let's make it equal to 0. That's a good idea. Okay. So let's factor 2. X squared minus 2. How much time do we have before Rachel explodes?
Come one, come all, to the SAT cram word, sesh word. I like putting word at the end of things. So it's a cram sesh, but it's a special cram sesh, because it's a cram word, sesh word. To my left is Levi, just not close. He's a little far away.
Sorry.
There he is.
There was a post about needing a math tutor, so I had to get on it.
Why don't you like just doing everything for free? Why would you want to make money doing this? Do you like having
food?
Resources?
Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Ring Matthews. Hello, Hono.
Hono.
Hone word. Ring Matthew word. Welcome to the Cram Sesh word. Cram word, sesh word.
Cram word, sesh word.
Yes, this is leave word. I'm, of course, braid word. And together we're nerdish word. Maybe just dish word.
Dish word?
I like dish word.
You like dish word?
I like dish word. What do you like?
Yeah.
Nerd word, dish word, or nerdish word?
Why not nerd word, dish word? Hey, do you need some help on stuff?
We'll help you out on the stuff.
Don't think we won't. We will. No, that's not what I want.
You guys are very loyal followers.
Did we do these Minkyo questions?
Minkyo, you would have done them. Do you remember doing them?
Yes, I did 21.
I'm cramming for my college algebra test tomorrow.
Probably not.
College algebra? Oh no.
You're not in college.
You're not in college. You'll have to explain that.
Maybe she meant collage algebra.
Oh, collage algebra. It's a whole mess of different...
out of variables.
Right. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Who was it yesterday that's like, yeah, after using 2 variables, it just got a lot easier? Who was that?
I don't remember.
That was so funny.
Slayer Dark, maybe?
We have high school to college courses. Oh. Oh, no. Okay. Well, you know, what are you learning in that class? What do you... So I get credit and stuff. Yeah, credit's good. Do you want us to help you with any of that stuff? Because algebra shows up on the ACT or SAT. I'm not sure if you knew. How about reading an antiquated passage and talking about how to analyze it and then doing the questions? We're doing trig. Oh. Ring Matthews wants an old passage.
All right.
You know what? I'll do this one.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you what I can do. I'm gonna show how
Matthew,
how much an animal I am.
We have SAT 8 open right now. Is SAT 8 number 8 fine for you? Float your boat?
Can we get a different one, or
we can. It's up. So.
Yeah, is that cool? If it's a new one for you, that's actually probably good.
Also, Matthew, are you done after this test?
Are you done?
That's not how I meant it. Don't listen to him.
Stop.
Are you? Is this your last test? Okay. Antiquated English.
Antiquated English.
So, is this antiquated-y?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's a speech. They're debating.
And all speeches are antiquated.
Correct.
Very good.
All right, bring it up to the top. Make it big. Make it nasty. Make it nasty.
So, in college, do you remember Secret Snowflake?
Yeah.
Do you think I should talk about what I had to do for my Secret Snowflake?
Totally depends on what you had to do. I don't know what you had to do, so I would be careful.
I'll
with
tell
that.
you later.
Okay.
Yeah, that's safest.
Yeah. All right. Not a lot of space here. So, number one, these blurbs at the very beginning. Are you going to stay up here?
No, I realized it.
Okay. These little blurbs are pretty important because they give you some context about what you're about to read. Can we not do the dual ones? Can we not do the dual ones? Oh, you don't like that. Wouldn't it be better if you want this to be difficult for us to do the dual ones, or do you really want to do a historical one that's not dual? Because we can change it. We can change it. We have to like get one on our Discord to be able to do that.
No, this is just on.
Oh, it's all loaded up.
Firefox.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Every match has a request.
All right.
We will change it.
So the science won't be antiquated. Are you okay with like the literary antiquated one, if that's a possibility? No, it's not antiquated. Okay, we will go to SAT. Let's do.
I like how the internet is on our stream right now. John Candy joke that still made Steve Martin cry. You won't believe what happened. You find the
Okay.
dual ones easy, huh? Do you find dueling easy? Because I just shot you, and I didn't see you shooting me back. That's dueling.
Whatever that was, it was ridiculous.
I don't know. Is it? We're fighting it right now.
This is kind of antiquated-y.
Keep going down.
No, you don't want it?
Well, no, it might be. There's usually like a doc. Well, oh, that's a social one. All right, science. Here it is.
But it's dual passage.
Oh, it's dual. Is it?
It's dual
not,
passage
It's dual
again.
passage again. Let's go to
It's always
6.
dual
Let's go to
passage.
6. We'll figure it out. It'll be okay. Quick question: how do you know? We're back up.
Hey, have we been lagging at all in the last 30 seconds?
Are we? Yeah, are we lagging? Up here in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. All right, cosine and tangent are both negative. Down here, only tangent is positive because sine and cosine are both negative down here. So because tan is equal to sine over cosine, you divide a negative by negative, you get a positive. Over here, only cosine is positive. Does it answer your question, Hono? What's going on, Leave?
Test 6 also is dual passage. I think they might all be dual passage. I haven't really thought about this before, but...
Just, keep searching.
Oh.
Honeward. Is that cool? Oh. Oh, okay. All right, so there's this acronym on the unit circle. All students take calculus. Which is not true, but just try to remember that. It stands for what's positive in each quadrant. In the first quadrant, sine, cosine, and tangent are all positive. In the second quadrant, only sine is positive. The third quadrant, only tan is positive. The fourth quadrant, only cosine is positive. Okay? Keep in mind that the sine is represented by the y-axis. All right, so any angle that is above here in these two quadrants where the y-axis is positive, that's where sine is positive. Any axis, the x-axis is cosine, so any to the right of the y-axis. So any of these two quadrants, cosine will be positive, okay? So sine is going to be negative over here, cosine will be negative over here, but down here, they're both negative, meaning tangent is going to be positive because tangent is equal to sine divided by cosine. So if you have a negative divided by a negative, you get a positive. That doesn't look great.
Hey, Matthew, I'm actually having trouble finding an antiquated passage that's not a dual passage. So if you could find one and then send it to us, we can do that.
Since when do we call them antiquated passages?
Since Ring Matthew, like
they're historical passages.
Well, like you can have a literary passage that's more antiquated.
Yeah, but I mean, like the literary ones aren't the historical ones. There's always two different ones.
I know, but the literary ones can be kind of antiquated.
True.
That's what I'm saying.
True. Okay, so is that what he wants? I think there was one on 2.
Okay. Yeah, you look. We'll stay here, and then send it to us, and then we'll look.
Honeward. Does this make sense now?
Honeward.
Yeah. Do you feel good? Yes, it does. Good. Dual passages are usually history, right? That's what it's looking like. Ring Matthews. I want the literary passage. Oh, he wants the literary passage. So you're right. The antiquated prose passage. All right, we can do that. We can do that. All right. Leave word. Did you just cancel out the window that had SATs on it?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you?
Doubtful. I'm gonna go back to SAT 8. That's a fun one, I think. All right. Oh, that was 2008. That one is too recent. SAT 7. We're gonna get there. Try the first one on 2. All right, SAT 2. You got it. Here we go.
Hey, how's our bit rate? Little green box.
It's good.
It's fine.
Yeah, pretty solid actually. Okay. God, I love this. Okay. Here we go. So while I'm reading this, I'm going to be periodically stopping and just kind of paraphrasing what I just read. Hey guys, can you go over the questions you didn't finish on Tuesday? Yes, robot. We will do that. I will put that on the queue. You are a dancer. Another question. If I'm doing the arcline question with S equals theta r, how do I know if it's in radians? So S equals r theta or S equals theta r only works if it's in radians. So the problem that you're working with will specify the angle you're, if is it degrees or is it radians? It'll tell you. You'll see the little degree symbol, and for radians, it'll have pi built in. Doesn't have to, though. Like, it might just be 2 radians. Normal radian reference angles have pi in them. Anyway, this passage is from Charlotte Bronte, the professor, originally published in 1857. This is antiquated. Okay. The question I got wrong didn't specify, so yeah. There you go. You can only use S equals r theta with radians. It doesn't work for degrees. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled, and submits to be floated passively back to land. So he's creating this image of someone who does not want to admit that he chose the wrong job and wants to just keep fighting, and it takes a lot of time for you to finally realize, all right, this is an uphill battle. I don't want to keep working at this job. But it stinks because you kind of have to go back to square one. Cool. From the first week of my residence in X, I felt my occupation irksome. So his job is annoying. The thing itself, the work of copying and translating business letters, was a dry and tedious task enough, but had that been all, I should have long borne with the nuisance. I am not of an impatient nature, and influenced by the double desire of getting my living and justifying to myself and others the resolution I had taken to become a tradesman, I should have endured in silence the rust and cramp of my best faculties. I should not have whispered, even inwardly, that I longed for liberty. I should have pent in every sigh by which my heart might have ventured to intimate its distress under the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyous tumult of Big Ben Close, and its panting desire for freer and fresher scenes. Oh, this is just a long list of sentences. So he's saying that, like, his job is not great. It's kind of tedious, but he should have tried to keep it in and just powered through, is what he's saying so far. I should have set up the image of duty, the fetish of perseverance, in my small bedroom at Mrs. King's lodgings, and they too should have been my household gods. So he's saying that, he should have upheld himself according to duty and perseverance. But it sounds like he didn't do that because he's saying that he should have done that. From which my darling, my cherished in secret imagination, the tender and the mighty should never, either by softness or strength, have severed me. But this was not all. The antipathy. Now, antipathy, antipathy, against, it's negative feeling, it's hatred basically. Sympathy, antipathy is opposites, so this is hatred. The antipathy which had sprung up between myself and my employer, striking deeper root and spreading denser shade daily, excluded me from every glimpse of the sunshine of life, and I began to feel like a plant growing in humid darkness out of the slimy walls of a well. So his boss sucks. He hates his boss, which is making his job way more miserable than the normal amount of miserable that it would have been that he would have been able to put up with. Antipathy is the only word which can express the feeling Edward Crimsworth had for me, a feeling in a great measure involuntary, and which is liable to be excited by the most trifling in movement, look, or word of mine. My southern accent annoyed him, the degree of education evinced in my language irritated him, my punctuality, industry, and accuracy fixed his dislike, and gave it the high flavor and poignant relish of envy. He feared that I, too, should one day make a successful tradesman. All right, so his boss hates everything about him, and there's not much he can really do. Had I been in anything inferior to him, he would not have hated me so thoroughly, but I knew all that he knew, and what was worse, he suspected that I kept the padlock of silence on mental wealth in which he was no sharer. Okay, so this guy is smarter than his boss. The boss realizes that, hates him for it, and suspects that he's not sharing everything that he knows with this guy, because he doesn't want to constantly show his boss that he's smarter. So he's probably just pretending to not be as smart as he is, or just keeping it in. If he could have once placed me in a ridiculous or mortifying position, he would have forgiven me much, but I was guarded by 3 faculties: caution, tact, observation. And prowling and prying as was Edward's malignity, it could never baffle the lynx eyes of these, my natural sentinels. So this guy's being very careful. He knows that if he screws up, his boss is going to love it, and he doesn't want to give him the benefit of seeing that. Day by day did his malice watch my tact. Here we go. One sec. Here we go. Day by day did his malice watch my tact, hoping it would sleep and prepared to steal snake-like on its slumber, but tact, if it be genuine, never sleeps. So this guy is smart and careful. The boss is always watching him to see if he makes a mistake, and it doesn't seem like he ever does. All right, and then this continues. I had received my first quarter's wages and was returning to my lodgings, possessed heart and soul with the pleasant feeling that the master who had paid me grudged every penny of that hard-earned pittance. I had long ceased to regard Mr. Crimsworth as my brother. He was a hard, grinding master. He wished to be an inexorable tyrant, that was all. So his boss, of course, doesn't enjoy paying this guy because he doesn't like him, but he still has to pay him because it's the law. Thoughts, not varied but strong, occupied my mind. 2 voices spoke within me. Again and again they uttered the same monotonous phrases. One said, "William, your life is intolerable." The other, "What can you do to alter it?" I walked fast, for it was a cold, frosty night in January as I approached my lodgings. Okay, so these 2 voices are basically, one of them is telling him, get out of the job. This is ridiculous. No person should have to work a job like this under a boss like this. And the other one is saying, yeah, but what can you do about it? You can't quit. Clearly he can, but he doesn't feel like he should. So there's nothing you can really do, so you might as well stick with it. So these things are kind of dueling. I turned from a general view of my affairs to the particular speculation as to whether my fire would be out. Looking towards the window of my sitting room, I saw no cheering red gleam. So his life is just kind of cold and dark right now, and seeing that his fire is out is kind of a good symbolic image of, I guess, how he feels towards his current life choices. Fantastic. All right, so let's take a look at these questions. What choice best summarizes the passage? I'm going to say, because this is kind of a main idea question, I'm going to leave this till the end of this passage, because the more questions I do, the more I'll understand about the passage I just read. I should be able to get this right now, but it's a good strategy to go for the detailed questions first and then the big picture questions last. Number 2, the main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is to what? All right, so I want to go back to that and just read that opening sentence again. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against winded tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled, and submits to be floated passively back to land. All right, so why are the two voices disagreeing with each other? Ring Matthews, one of them is saying, this job stinks. The other one is saying, yeah, but you can't do anything about it. So one of them is urging him to, get his guts together and leave. And the other one is basically saying, yeah, but you shouldn't do that. What can you do to change it? This is your life right now. There's one that's like pointing towards a brighter future, which involves leaving the job, and the other one is saying, there's no point. You can't change things. That's why they're disagreeing with each other. Anyway, okay, so that first sentence here explains the overall situation that he's in, which is he doesn't want to quit, but it's a terrible job, and he's just pushing through, wondering when the last straw will come when he should just quit. But then he goes back to the starting point, which is he doesn't have a job. All right, so the main purpose of the opening sentence. Establish the nature intolerable means to leave. Yes, exactly. Intolerable means you cannot tolerate it, which means you should leave. If something's tolerable, you can put up with it. If it's intolerable, you can't even tolerate it. You can't put up with it.
My lord, isn't that the sickness that comes with the water in the dirty rivers?
Intolerable?
Yes,
Wait.
cholera.
Cholera.
Cholera, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
So intolerable doesn't mean to leave. It means that it's really crappy and that you should leave because you can't tolerate it. Establish the narrator's perspective on a controversy. There doesn't really seem to be much of a controversy here. He doesn't like his job. Can I answer these questions first, by the way? And then, ask me if they're right or wrong, and then continue from there? Yeah, I suppose. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, okay, yeah, go ahead and answer these questions, and then we can talk about them. Let us know when you're done with the questions, and then we will come back to this. In the meantime, we can do Robot Dancer's question from the Discord. All right, Robot, you still here? Hope you're still here, Robot. Robot. And Robot Levi. Robot was not here last night, right?
I think Robot was here last night.
Do you know how far we got with Robot's questions?
No. Do you?
No. Okay, I recognize this question. We did that one. No, we did not do that one. We did this one, though. Okay, Levi, let's see. Robot, art thou here? Because if thou art, we can speak of your quests. Questions. If not, we can't do it because we need you to watch. Because this is for you. Levi and I do this specifically for you, Hono, and Ring Matthews. We call you guys the Big Three.
The Big Three.
Big Three.
It's been that way for years.
Absolutely. Since the beginning, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not getting much from Robot here. Let's see, are there other questions that people have asked? Near the bottom, there's a Minkyo question, I think. Minkyo at 9. Oh, you probably did this one. The one at 9:04.
Yeah.
Okay. I can go back to here. So, Hono, you're doing, we used to call it surf, S equals R theta, because you got S and then E for equals, R for R, and then TH for theta. So we call it the surf formula. And it's a lot of fun. And I might as well just say something about it, because Robot is not here. Ring Matthews is working on questions. I put a question. Hono put a question.
Yes. You can always tell a Hono question.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Ungraphic. What happened?
So I sent a Facebook message to a prospective mom, or she is a mom already.
Wait
but
one
she's a
sec.
prospective
Oh
mom.
no, is this letter B or number 5? Up here? Number 35. Okay, so that's number 30. Oh, it's up there at the top. I see. Okay. There we go. Levi, go ahead.
What?
You can say what you're going to say. You can say what you need to
Oh.
say, Jazz.
Oh.
There we go.
No.
There you go.
No, but you know how I have to change the Facebook video description?
Yeah.
But I also just sent a Facebook message to a possible mom client.
Okay.
But I almost copied and pasted the Facebook description as the message to the mother, and then posted it. Like,
Oh.
hi, Aaron.
Oh.
I'm a tutor.
That's fantastic. Do you wanna
Yeah,
do this
I
one?
should probably do this because I don't know if you know how. Which one is it?
Number 35. Start with
A and
A,
B?
I guess, and B, yeah.
Probably. I love starting with A. Okay.
Have fun.
Also, if you notice in the top left, we have the shadow of Hono's forearm, very likely,
Ooh.
which is
Saucy.
very saucy and akin to Bigfoot.
Ooh. All right. It's all wet.
It's not. Were you outside? You were all dry. Why is your hand so dry?
I don't know. This is weird. I gotta go get to the bottom of this.
Get
dude.
out of here. Classic business partner. Okay. On the axes below, sketch at least one cycle of a sine curve with an amplitude of 2, a midline at y equals -3/2, and a period of 2 pi. Okay, so it looks like you've drawn in your sinusoidal axis. Is it sinusoidal axis? Yes.
No.
What is it?
Yeah, it's a sinusoidal curve.
No. But the thing where it's you're splitting in half. I think that's a sinusoidal axis.
Splitting what in half?
The sine curve when it goes like that, the sinusoidal axis.
The midline.
Midline. That's what I said.
No, it's not.
I think so. Wait, look up sinusoidal axis.
It's been called the midline as long as I've known it.
Yeah, probably longer. So we have the midline at -3/2, so you got that in there. And you drew out enough to have a period of 2 pi shown in each direction, so that's cool. And you have an amplitude of 2, so you need to go up by 2 and down by 2. You don't get graphing. Got it. Okay. So what you wrote here is your equation. You have 2, so that's great. Your a in front of the coefficient in front of sine, that's perfect. You do want it to go up by 2 and down by 2, so that's the 2
right.
there. It is? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And then you have 2 pi x. I don't know if you need that. You don't need that, Hono. You have a midline. You've covered your midline by doing -3/2 at the end. You've covered your amplitude of 2 by putting 2 in front of sine. I was sure if you weren't sure if you had to divide by the b value. Okay, so the period of the function is 2 pi divided by b. But since you want the period to be 2 pi, b would be 1. Does that make sense? So your b should be nothing. It should just be, or it should be 1. So it just, inside the parentheses, it's just sine of x. That's it. So now graphing this, you plug in. If you want to, I mean, you could feasibly. I mean, I guess it's not shifting left or right, or even accordioning, because the accordioning, as accordions do.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just plug in. Let's plug in, because your equation's good, but I'm going to rewrite it without that 2 pi. So we have y equals 2 sine of x minus 3/2. Okay? Now, let's plug in and see what our values are. Do they tell you where to graph it? Just one cycle. Okay. That part too, I never know if it's stretched, compressed, or normal. Okay. So you have, let's do that real quick, actually. So you have y equals a sine of bx plus c plus d. Okay? That is your general equation for sine, or cosine, or tangent, whatever. And this is a times sine. So this a does amplitude, which is nice and easy to remember. Amplitude. Okay? If it's 1, you just have an amplitude of 1, right? Because sine of 90 degrees is 1, and cosine is 0. So like you're going up and down from the x-axis by 1. So if this doubles, then like here, then your amplitude is 2, and you go up 2, you go down 2. Your amplitude is 2. This in here, this does the accordioning. This is where your period changes. So this is changes your period. So I'll just put period in there. So A affects amplitude, B affects period, C affects left, right, shift, and D, how much room do I have? Not much. Affects the up, down, nice,
Levi,
shift. Yes.
you gotta have B and then in parentheses x minus C. Because the B is built in. It's gotta be in parentheses x minus C.
Okay. Oh, right, it is supposed to be minus. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm completely positive. I've been working with a kid for like a year on this.
Well, it doesn't really matter, though.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because if you don't multiply the B by everything, C will not be the horizontal shift.
Okay. Very good. So, up until now.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yep.
Okay. Same deal, still. Also, B is 1. If you have x plus 2 inside the parentheses, then you don't have to deal with B anyway. So, let's talk about yours. So, because you have not, if you don't mess with anything inside of your parentheses here, then you're not going to have any left and right stuff, and you're not going to have any accordioning. Okay, there's no stretched, compressed stuff. This is what this moves it up and down. This moves it left and right. This stretches and compresses left and right, and A stretches and compresses vertically. So in yours, you're going to have, let's do blue. So we can just plug in. So let's try that. You're just doing sine of x anyway. So sine of 0 is 0. Then we multiply by 2. It's still 0. And then we subtract 3 halves, which is negative 3 halves. So you're going to start here. Okay, that's your first point. So we have 0, comma, negative 3 halves. We know we have that point. And now let's go up. Let's go to pi over 2. This is in radians, by the way. Pi over 2. So sine of pi over 2 is 1. And then we multiply by 2, so that's 2. We subtract 3 halves, so that's 1 half. So that's not where that goes. I'm also going to make this a little bit bigger so we have a little more space. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we start here, then we go to pi over 2, and we go all the way up to here. And then we're going to go to pi, and that'll bring us back down to here, because if we plug in pi, sine of pi is 0, times 2 is 0, minus 3 halves is negative 3 halves. And then we go, so this is 1 half. We have pi, which gives us negative 3 halves again. And then we have 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2 will give us sine of 3 pi over 2, which is negative 1, times 2, which is negative 2, minus 3 halves, which is negative 7 halves. So we're going down to from here. So we'll be here. Does this make sense, Hona? What I'm doing? I'm literally just plugging into the equation, right? It's an equation, it'll give you points. So you don't have to know what it looks like, you just have to know how to take sine of the reference angles. And then this is not quite 1 period. The next, because it has a period of 2 pi, we get to there. Yeah, it does. Great. So this is what our guy looks like. And it said just at least 1 cycle, so that's what you have. Here's your sinusoidal axis, midline thing, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to have this memorized. You can figure it out on the fly. It's not crazy. It would definitely help you to have it memorized, but definitely know why things are the way they are. A for amplitude, that's pretty easy. And then whenever you're messing with x, it's going to be left and right stuff. And then whenever you're just adding stuff at the end, because you're solving for y at the end of the day, if you're just adding stuff, you're going to be moving the entire function up and down, because this will give you some y value, and now you add 5 to it. Okay, every value will just go up by 5. Do you have any follow-up questions on any of this? We have to do B, right? I guess there's a B in this. Explain any differences between a sketch of y equals 2 times sine of parentheses x minus pi over 3 minus 3 halves and the sketch from part A. Ah, okay. So I'm going to do that one here. How am I going to do this? I'm going to rewrite this one. So this graph that we have here is y of 2 sine x minus 3 halves. That's what this graph is, so I did it in blue, and then I'm going to erase the top one and write what we have from part B of this question over here. Okay, so we have y equals 2 sine of x minus pi over 3 minus 3 halves. Okay, there is exactly one difference between what's written in here. Oh, you have another of a yn question. Okay. But I never know when. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that in a sec. So, just to finish this up, the only difference between these two is what's going on inside the parentheses here. And what's going on is we're subtracting pi over 3. Which means that we are moving the entire function to the right 3. Wow, not 3. Moving it to the right pi over 3. Which isn't super easy to show here because these are in increments of pi over 2 and not pi over 3. So we'd have to break it down into pi over 6 stuff, and then we could show it a little bit better. But this one will look like roughly this. You know, something like that. We're just moving it over pi over 3. That's probably not far enough. Should have gone a little bit farther. Okay, do the next one in a sec, or not in a sec, literally right now. Okay, so another question is, oh boy, okay, let's do it. I'm going to just take one of these. Minus 2, ridiculous. Okay. Like for those, it's when I get confused on the period and compressions. Okay. So you are given y equals negative 3 cosine of, I'm going to just write it down here so it's clear. Y equals negative 3 cosine of x over 2. Okay, and then let's graph it. So the period is 2 pi over 1/2. Yes. So this is, you're always going to do 2 pi divided by the coefficient of x here. The coefficient of x here, this can be written as 1/2 x, right? So because the period equals 2 pi over b from up here, when you have a b of 1/2, it'll double the period, which hopefully makes sense. Because if, let's say that your coefficient of x is 10, that means that whatever values of x you plug in, you're going to be moving through the x values super fast. So cosine of an x of 0, that's the normal thing because it's 10 times 0 inside there. But then you plug in pi over 2 for x, Well, it's 10 times pi over 2, which is 5 pi. So your period is happening really, really, really quickly. You're going around the circle way faster because you're multiplying by 10. When you're multiplying by a fraction, you're dividing by a fraction in this formula here, so your period is getting bigger. Okay? So it slows stuff down. This number out front is period. It's not shifting. Okay? So it is compressing your, it's expanding your period. Okay? So, and you can also figure this out by plugging in values. And then seeing what's going on. I'm not sure, I can't quite see your numbering system. You have 1/2 pi, oh, you just have a normal pi over 2, pi, that type of thing. Do you understand? So you get confused with the period and compressions. Does this make sense? Do you understand what your teacher said here? Is it that you just don't get it still, or you're just uncomfortable doing it for the first time when you're seeing something new? Because I can give you an example. I don't get when to make the period longer on the graph. Okay, it's this. This is what the period is. And what you should be doing is plugging in values anyway. That's what you should be doing.
You should also write b is equal to 2 pi over the period.
B equals 2 pi over the period?
Yeah, just in case they need to calculate b and they know the period.
That's true. She marked your 2 pi to 4 pi. Yeah. She screwed around with your numbering system a little. Okay. I think whatever she did, she didn't fully correct it, because she just wrote 4 pi on that fourth line after the y-axis and then drew in her own size of things. So it clearly isn't matching yours. Let's see. Cosine of 0 is negative. Yeah, that makes sense. Then at pi, yeah, okay, so let's take pi, for example. You should be plugging stuff in. On this question, I don't know if you based things off of your ideas of this equation and then you drew what you thought it would look like. You probably don't have to draw how you think things look. You can just plug in. That's kind of the whole point. So that first point here, you have 0. So when x is 0, you plug that in, you get cosine of 0 over 2, which is cosine of 0. Cosine of 0 is 1 times negative 3. Ring Matthews done with something?
Yeah, he's done with the reading questions.
Okay. So you get negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. So that point on your y-axis is correct. But then pi over 2, I think that's the next thing you plug in for x. So when you plug in pi over 2 for x, you get cosine of pi over 4. Cosine of pi over 4 is rad 2 over 2. Rad 2 over 2 times negative 3 is negative 3 rad 2 over 2. I don't really know exactly what that is, so that's not that pretty, but it'll be somewhere. And then let's plug in pi for x. If we plug in pi for x, we get pi over 2. Pi over 2, or cosine of pi over 2, is 0. So that should be going through 0, which you have. So I don't really know the problem here. On the grid below, for one full period to the left. Okay. You just didn't follow directions here. So you drew the correct graph. Your graph is correct, but you didn't follow the directions because the directions said draw one full period to the left and one full period to the right. You did half a period in both directions, so your graph has one period in it. You go from the top of the top of the wave back to the top of the wave, but she wanted one wave in each direction. You only have half a wave. So she compressed it on the graph more, but your graph is correct. What you drew is correct for the equation that was given. It's just not the answer to the question because you didn't give her 2 periods, you gave her exactly 1. Sorry, that was a long way of saying you just didn't follow directions. I didn't quite realize that's what the problem was there. Yeah, it's no fun when you're kind of gaslighting yourself because what you think you got wrong is not actually what you got wrong, and then you're trying to teach yourself, or you're trying to explain to yourself how something you did that's right was wrong, and then you just waste a ton of time. But yeah, what you drew is good for this one. Okay, you want to do some Ring Matthews stuff?
I do.
How is it doing the reading, by the way? Do you feel like me?
I do.
Yeah, I feel like me also.
When I'm doing the reading?
Yeah, and I feel like you when you're doing the reading.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We should probably get to the bottom of that.
Hmm.
Or not.
One of those two.
Okay. There we go. Absolutely. Okay.
We gotta give this board a deep clean, I think.
Deep, deep clean.
So deep.
Glad we explored that option together.
Yep.
All right. Ring Matthews. So you've done. Hey, it's Joshua Gallagher. Hello. Do we know that person?
No.
He said hello, mate. So I think he's Australian.
Must be.
Hello, mate. How you doing? Welcome to Nudish. All right. Ring Matthews, this is for you. Let me make this big for myself. Hold on. The cars are honking outside. Actually, you couldn't be more wrong, LOL. You're the opposite of Australian, so that means that you are directly from Missouri. Right. So if you drill a hole from Australia through the core of the earth, you will end up in Missouri. That makes sense. All right, so we're going over these questions. The main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is to, all right, so Ring Matthews and everyone else, we read through this passage. It's SAT number 2, the very first passage, so check it out if you want to go along with this here. So, establish the narrator's perspective on a controversy. This is not a controversy. He's just giving us a little heads up on the conflict. Okay. Provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. I like that. Offer a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. The problem is Edward Crimsworth is the boss, not the narrator. So C will be wrong. Contrast the narrator's good intentions with his malicious conduct. He didn't have any malicious conduct. He didn't like his job. He didn't like his boss. Nothing happened that was malicious, though. So yes, Ring Matthews, you'd be correct in putting B. Very good. Very
Joshua
good.
Gallagher is from Missouri.
Yeah. So we can do the Missouri accent. Hello, I'm from Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri, mate.
Yeah. We like to go
Snakes.
to the Mississippi River on the big
Yes.
steamboats.
Yes, all the big steamboats.
All the big
on the
steamboats.
Mississippi River.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to continue now with number 3.
Wait, Joshua, do you have any questions? And could you put them in the Discord? I'm trying to talk to you like all the people around you most likely talk.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not going to be relatable.
Right, or understandable.
Right. Missouri accent is so different from the rest of the country.
Yes,
Very
it's very
interesting.
like this.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, Missouri was abdicated by the Australian king and queen from
It
the
was-
from the 1920s.
It was abdicated.
It was abdicated.
I'm not sure a piece of land can be abdicated.
No, it can. It can because we brought
No.
it over here.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
from-
so they sent it to us.
yeah, on the
The old-
Trans-Siberian Railroad.
Why don't you just get out of here?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Did terribly on the AP exam in history.
During the course of the first paragraph, the narrator's focus shifts from. All right. So I am going to go back up to the first paragraph because that's how you do this. You forget, and then you go back. All right. So the first paragraph, oh, it's a long one. So we've read it. So he says the beginning is like, if you drill a hole to the center of the earth, you would be around the same distance away from Missouri and Australia, effectively making it the opposite. Right. Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh no.
Oh, that was Hono?
No, just look what Hono said.
You guys sound more...
Hono, you are so.
Hono, this is a Missouri accent. To the T. To the T.
Oh no, you couldn't be more wrong. Couldn't possibly be more wrong.
Yeah. Can you go ahead and put that shrimp on the
babby?
on the babby? It's typical Missouri cuisine. But if you use that logic, two nearby cities will be opposite. Wait.
Yes. No, you're mistaking opposite cities with reciprocal cities, which are a little different.
Or inverse cities.
Right.
Now Joshua, you drill a hole to the center of the earth and you go through. You keep going in that direction.
No, you stay there.
Oh, you just stay in the center. And you just float.
Yeah, it's
Because you're the
floating.
center.
Everybody floats down there.
Oh my god. Joshua. Okay, you're around the same distance from away from Missouri.
Missouri, oh no.
Right, but are they connected with a diameter through the center of the earth? That's the question right there. Like, they always say you dig a hole, you'll get to China. Not exactly. You dig a hole and you're going to end up in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, Joshua, you can go on internet, one of the internets, and just type in, I don't know, find the place opposite my hometown on the planet. And then it'll put your hometown, it'll show you exactly what's opposite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, the first paragraph is very long. Well, no. I mean, Google Earth, I'm not sure will let you do that. There might be a setting on it, but there's going to be some website that lets you do that. I've done it before.
Yeah, I know the website.
A big swath of the country just ends up in the Indian Ocean if you go opposite. And you're probably going to end up in the Indian Ocean as well, because I'm from Illinois and you're from Missouri, and we share a border. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It's a little fun. The tone of the first. Okay. Tone. So he's giving us this image of, at some point, you got to just admit that you shouldn't have done what you did. All right. His work is very dry and tedious, but he should have kept himself motivated. He could have done it. He should have worshipped duty and perseverance. But the antipathy between him and his boss made his job terrible and made his world dark. Okay, that was the first paragraph. Oh, I'm going to go to this. So, okay. Recollection of past confidence to acknowledgement of present self-doubt. Not really. What was the past confidence? We don't hear where he was before. So that's not really, okay. Reflection on his expectations of life as a tradesman to his desire for another job. Not really. Expectations, I never really talked about expectations. It goes, right into, this job stunk, but I should have been able to tolerate it. But then there was my boss. Generalization about job dissatisfaction to the specifics of his own situation. Interesting. I like that.
Oh, it's so interesting.
Evaluation of factors making him unhappy to identification of alternatives. Never gives us alternatives. Never says, I should quit my job and start being a race car driver or an ambulance driver or a police car driver. Does not give us a bunch of other jobs, nor were those jobs back then anyway. So that part of D is wrong. So C would be correct. That's right. Ring Matthews. Yeah. And Joshua, I'm looking forward to seeing what's exactly opposite. Not that far from Australia, you're correct, because it's in the ocean. Ha ha! Dude, I'm so good at that.
What'd you say?
He's in the Indian Ocean. That's the opposite. So,
yo, make Joshua ask us a question.
Joshua, ask us. Are you taking? Well, no. Specifically, there's the policeman and then the police car driver, who it's like serving jury duty. You get a letter from the state. And they ask you to be a police car driver for a short time.
They actually hire ex-convicts most of the time.
Yeah, because they know the drill.
Yeah.
They know the drill. The drill gets you through the center of the earth and winds you up in the Indian Ocean. You know what would be fun, though? If you could somehow drill that hole and, put concrete around the side so you don't just end up in magma. Robot Dancer's here. Fantastic. If you fall down that hole, you'll pass the center of the earth, but then gravity will start pulling you back upwards again because that's the center of mass of the earth. So you'll eventually start oscillating around the center until you get right in the middle and you'll just float there for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, your body will be ripped apart in all directions. Right?
I think mainly just up and down.
And then the floating?
Yes.
Right. Oh, never mind. You're right. You don't get ripped apart in all directions. If there's a kraken, there's I think a core kraken, a kraken in the core of the earth. that Kraken will rip you apart in all directions, simultaneously, literally in every
Wants someone
direction.
to love. It's not really
The Kraken?
the Kraken's fault.
Okay. The reference to shade and darkness at the end of the first paragraph mainly have which effect? All right, shade and darkness, I believe he was in reference to his boss. He felt like a plant at the bottom of a well.
What questions were we going to do for Robot again?
A whole bunch of them.
Okay. Robot, we're getting to your questions right after this.
There it is. All right, so shade and darkness. Let me just make sure. Go for it. Okay. Antipathy sprung between me and my boss. Deeper root. Shade. Darkness. Like a plant in a well. Hate being a plant in a well. What effect do they have? You want me to ask you a question? Yeah, I mean, are you taking the SAT or the ACT in the next week or two? If so, is there something you want to know about that's always eluded your understanding? No. Okay. Well, in that case, just, sit there and just be along for the ride. Okay? Okay, I went up a little bit. They evoke the narrator's sense of dismay. I like that so far. The narrator is very dismayed. They reflect the narrator's sinister thoughts. The narrator is not sinister. He just doesn't like his job. He doesn't do anything that's like dark and evil. So that's not right. They capture the narrator's fear of confinement. It's not that he's afraid of being in a situation like a well. It's just there's a darkness on his life because of his job. What's dismay? Dismay is, it's like being upset with something. You're disappointed with something. You put C. Yeah, the narrator's not afraid of being confined. That's not the problem here. Being confined means you're stuck in like a box. And it's more just that he's in this situation that is very hopeless. It's not that he's stuck in it, it's that he's hopeless. Then they reveal the narrator's longing for rest. Yes, also irrelevant. What does undermine and underscore mean? Is that for this one or is that for the next one? So undermine means to foil someone's efforts. So like if someone's trying to get certain legislation passed and then you somehow get with all the other legislators and make sure that they're never going to pass this legislation, you're undermining his efforts. Underscore means usually you underscore the importance of something, which is where you kind of like emphasize something. Yeah, undermine means to ruin someone else's dreams and goals somehow. Like evil people do that. I guess you also undermine evil people, which is a good thing. Yeah. All right, Robot Dancer, hope that helped. Anyway, okay, so yes, there's no fear of confinement here. It's just that the narrator's in a very dark place. Anyway. Hey, come on out. Look at this. Look at this. It's a Missouri chicken.
Straight out of Missouri.
But Ring Matthews, he's confined to his job, yes, but he's not afraid. Fear of confinement. You're afraid of being stuck in his job. He's stuck in his job, but it's not that he's afraid of it. There's no fear. He's just disappointed and he doesn't like where he's at. Nice. Yeah, so fear is the wrong thing here. Got it. Good. What a gentle chicken. It's a sweet chicken, correct? Okay. Oh, Levi, you've
The chicken doesn't condone violence.
You outstayed your welcome.
Sorry.
No violence here. No, I don't want that.
Okay.
It's a shoulder chicken now?
Exactly what you want.
You don't know that. I mean, it turns out that yes, I did want this, but I just don't want to give you the satisfaction. Number 5, the passage indicates that Edward Crimsworth's behavior was mainly caused by his wet.
Wait, I'm really sorry. Should we do a Robot Dancer question now?
Yeah, let me finish this one.
Okay.
We'll do a robot dancer question. Okay, very good. His impatience with the narrator's high spirits. I know that's wrong, because the narrator was not in high spirits. The narrator was miserable the whole time. Scorn of the narrator's humble background. No. The narrator comes from a more educated background than he does. The reason why the employer doesn't like the narrator is because the narrator is smarter than him. Mate, have you ever thought about how electromagnetic force is that many times stronger than gravity? No, not B, D. Joshua, I didn't know it was that... I knew it was a lot stronger. I didn't know it was that much stronger. That's pretty strong. Mikyo! Everybody's here. It's a party. It's just a Missouri party.
Yeah.
That sounds weird.
Missouri Patty.
Missouri potty. Everyone's using the Missouri potty.
Missouri Potty.
Okay, indignation at the narrator's rash actions. The narrator doesn't do anything. He just is careful and he does his job well. So rash actions, if you're taking a rash action, you're doing something bold and not well planned. It's not a good thing. You're just being impulsive and rash. No, it's not good. Jealousy of the narrator's apparent superiority. That's more like it. The narrator tells us, we can go back to that part where it talks about why he hates him. Okay, here it is. This stuff here. We can highlight. Levi, this is great.
What?
We can highlight like this. We should have had this the whole time.
We've had it the whole time.
I know, but now we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay. Had I been in anything inferior to him, he would not have hated me so thoroughly. I knew all that he knew. And where is the thing about his education? My southern accent annoyed him. The degree of education evinced in my language irritated him. Yeah, this guy's just smarter and overall superior to the employer, which is why the employer hates him.
He's probably from Missouri.
The narrator?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Now, humble means you come from a lower background. When people say humble, like be humble, that means that they don't want you to be, can confirm. Joshua confirmed. That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah, humble means like don't be overly braggadocious. But if you come from a humble background, it means it's kind of like it's not coming from a high level background where you're already you're the son of incredibly wealthy people and go to the all that. You come from a lower station, but the fact that you're able to move up anyway. Yes, and the narrator did not come from a humble background because he clearly was educated more than Edward Crimsworth. All right, so Levi, robot dancer question?
Oh, robot dancer question.
Okay, robot, we're going to do some of your questions. And Ring Matthews, we're going to come back to this.
Questions.
Talk about Alta Ipsum. Oh, we will. Should we do it right now?
Oh, we might as well.
Yeah, we got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
So,
This is Alta Ipsum. Alta Ipsum has been around since the Mesozoic era. Whoa, that's an enormous number that Joshua has referenced.
It is.
By the way, that sketch of me is inaccurate. I only have one leg. I am
unilegged. You want to do Sauron the Great?
We should.
That'd be
Hey,
fun.
okay. If we do this, you guys have to promise not to leave the stream immediately.
I want a promise from every one of you that's watching.
Yes. So write out promise, and then we will do this thing.
It's very weird. Some of you
I
may
think
have seen
Hono
it.
has seen it. Hono has seen it. Hono hated it,
Yes.
as I recall.
We're gathering
We
together
got
the promises.
one viewer after we do this, so that's good.
Promise.
Minkyo, good. Ring Matthews, promise, good. Hono's not going to promise because
Hono.
Hono has seen it before and Hono doesn't want to see it.
Oh
again.
God, should I even promise? What about Joshua Gallagher? We need Joshua's promise.
Joshua, promise.
We need your promise, Joshua.
Promise, Joshua.
Joshua!
Did you just crack a bunch of stuff there?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Joshua. And Hono, you should. Although, I was trying to write an actual contract, but that's too hard.
Just promise.
Just promise.
You don't have time to write a contract. It's a verbal contract. It's not even a verbal contract.
It's a typed contract. Good. I think that's everyone, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, do we want to start looking that way?
No, you
Okay.
have to look at this way.
Okay. When do we turn that way? We got to turn this way.
Immediately we'll turn that
Okay.
way.
Wait. What part?
Immediately. Just do it in the beginning.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. So dumb.
Ready?
I don't know, yeah.
My master Sauron the Great bids thee welcome.
Just you up there.
Okay.
Anyway, that's over. Yeah, it's that.
It's that, oh no.
So
Yay.
it's coming at you from a deleted
That'll
scene.
be on the testing section, the 5th section of the essay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You guys, it's a deleted scene from Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Yeah.
Where they're coming from. Oh God, what was that massive city called?
Sauron.
No, it's not. Anyway, it's the final. It's the final battle.
Hobbiton.
No,
Hobbiton.
no, absolutely not.
Little fairy.
Gondor is the overall land, I believe. It's that city. Gondward. No.
Gondola.
Anyway, yeah, the gates, the black gates open, and then the mouth of Sauron comes out, and it's this weird character that they eventually took out, who's just like a comedian who.
He's not a comedian. I thought it was
just
really
this
cool.
smile. He's like.
I thought it was very cool.
He's sarcastic. It's super goofy. I suppose we could put it on our stream.
No, we just did it.
I know, but I mean, like, you know. Anyway, guys, look up the Mouth of Sauron on YouTube. You're just gonna have a blast.
I hate those questions.
And then you're gonna start doing what we do.
Ooh.
What is the name of that city?
Gondola?
No.
This looks fun. Hey, do you want to do
This
one? That's the whole question? Yeah. Wow, that works pretty well, actually. How do you feel about this one, Robot? Is this good for you? Let's float your boat. What do we got here? Nope, doesn't matter. I could give you all some pointers on how to hold cameras, in line with the words on the paper, but I have more important things to do, like do stupid stuff with Brady.
Minas Tirith. That was the name of that city.
It's Minas Tirith, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Minas Tirith. Nutrients.
Nutrients.
There's lots of nutrients in Minas Tirith.
nutrients in your questions. You need to ask us your questions.
Yo, big fan of nutrients.
You're a big fan of nutrients.
Yeah, I don't know why people think I don't like nutrients.
Everybody says that about you, and I have
Where does
tried
that
to tell
come
them
from?
stop.
Yes.
Bird loves nutrients.
There's this rumor, and it's really malicious.
I think it's mainly Hono is spreading that rumor.
I hope not. How many different accents do you even do? Are they judging? Hono's judging us. How many different accents? What if we asked you that question? How would you feel?
You can't just ask a tutor how many accents they can do.
Yeah, that's like asking like an older woman how much she weighs.
Right. You're old. How much do you weigh?
They don't like that. They don't.
Yeah.
You can ask them. Ask them if they like it first, and then if they do, you can ask them how, I just did 18 times 24. Anyway.
Okay. Because double. All right. 18 times 24, doubling. Okay, so Carrie is a packaging container. She's not Carrie is a packaging engineer and is designing a container to hold 12 drinking glasses shaped as regular octagonal prisms. Her initial sketch of the top view... Okay, great. So the length and width of the container base and initial sketch were doubled. At most, how many more glasses could the new container hold?
Bilbo Baggins.
Okay, so...
Billboard.
Billboard? Put another 2 questions. Well, you don't really need to find the area of the octagons. Do you still want this? Why are we saying wait? We're saying wait. Robot, how do you feel about it? You just did 18 times 24. So you're just doubling these things, right? Okay, so let's talk about this in a more general way. If you just have a shelf like that, you have basically this 2-dimensional thing, it's just a direction this way, and it's at some length, let's say it's length 5, and it can hold 5 things that are clearly all exactly the same size. And now we're going to double it. Now we can hold double the number of things, right? That makes sense. Now we're at 10. So if you double this length, you double the capacity. If you are doing dimensions, if you double one dimension and you double the other, and then you're doing area, then, yeah, thank you, Robot. It is certainly not drawn to scale. If you're doubling both dimensions, then you are quadrupling the area ratio, okay? So if this is x and this is y, and the area is a, if you're doubling x and you're doubling y, then the area is quadrupled. So that's the same thing if you have, I think this is a question somewhere, it might be on the ACT though, where you have 1 yard by 1 yard square, patch of grass. How many square feet is that? What is the area of this in square feet? Well, it's definitely 1 square yard, right? Because it's 1 times 1. How many square feet is it? It's not 3 square feet. It's going to be 9 square feet. which should make sense because this is 3 feet, this is 3 feet. So you've tripled this one, you've tripled this one, so when you multiply those factors together, the scale becomes 1 to 9. Which kind of makes sense because you're doing that. Also not drawn to scale. Okay, Ring Matthews put something in the chat. What is this? Do I want to open this? Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's what this picture was of. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Okay, got it. All right, at Ring Matthews, thank you. Your explanation makes sense. I want... yeah, very good. Cool. So yes, drawing things out is a good idea. Also, just brute forcing it, not too bad in this case. So 36. There are... So you're doubling in both directions. So you're 4 by 3, and then you're doubling. So you went from 12 to 48. So yes, 30. So 48 is 36 more than 12. Yup.
Says you in what army?
Me in the army of tutors that is amassing. Bird.
Should I blow the tutor horn?
Yes, blow the tutor horn.
All right.
I don't know what's about to happen, but it's going to be something dumb, everybody.
Tutors! Tutors!
I don't know why I didn't expect that. That should have been the first thing I thought of was going to happen, but it still surprised me. Okay.
Kind of a bozo.
Yeah. What are we doing now, Bird?
I could finish the Ring Matthews passage.
Okay, we're going to finish the Ring Matthews passage. And then we'll come to another... Wait, how many more questions are there?
It's like 5.
5 questions?
Dude, you're fine.
Okay. Are you?
I hope so.
We don't condone violence.
Hey!
Wait, we didn't do Alta Ipsum. We didn't actually do it.
You're right. You guys
Alta
didn't finish my
Ipsum is
questions.
not right here.
Well, robot. We're almost done with Ring Matthews questions. Did you just do a robot question?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, robot. We're gonna get to your questions. We can't just do all robot questions.
I want to do all robot
Well,
questions.
we will, but
Wait, but I want
we
to.
try to jump around a little bit, like kangaroos in Missouri. Yes, we are alternating. Correct. Which I'm sure Joshua has seen a lot of Missouri kangaroos.
Right. They
Right.
actually run 1 foot after the other, these kangaroos.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yes. We got a resounding yes from Joshua Goylacher. In crocodiles.
Crocodiles. The crocs.
Yeah.
The gators. Sorry, I thought I was the only one posting. I forgot about Ring Matthews.
Everybody always does. Nice.
I don't want to high five about
What? Oh, cool. Love bald eagle pets.
that. Nice.
All right, we're gonna switch this back.
We. Very good. Bert, you got to recrop that.
I'm gonna do it. Why do you think I'm not?
You never remember to recrop that.
You don't know that.
I know that.
No, you don't.
How do you do the whiteboard? That is a question for other people since we have no idea. How do you do the whiteboard?
We don't know.
How are you watching this, Joshua? Bird,
Hold on here. What's up?
just resize it.
It's fine. Make it a little smaller.
Yeah, make it a little smaller. Thanks, Ring Matthews. You got it.
Okay. Yeah, it's super complicated. Levi and I took a brief hiatus. We went to Nepal, and there was this very specific set of Buddhist monks. We stayed at the monastery there, and they practiced the art of writing backwards, specifically English. So we learned with them for about 2.5 years, and we could have actually gotten higher within the hierarchy of monks there, but we decided to come back. Yeah, robots. You're familiar with that sect then. Robot dancers from Nepal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Us too.
Yeah, I mean, we spent some time in Nepal learning how to write backwards, and that's why we do this. It was all for the SAT and ACT. Some people think that it's just because we write normally and then our camera software flips the footage backwards. Wait, robot, are you in Nepal? Do you live in Nepal and you're watching this, or are you? Do you live in America but just families from Nepal? I mean, if you're in Nepal and you're watching this, no, my parents are. I live in NYC. Got it. Okay. Well, so do we. So if you ever want some in-person tutoring, even though I guess there's no reason because you get it anyway, because we're always answering your questions, Nerdish Meetup. Hey, NYC gang. All these people are in NYC. Is that true? Hono's in NYC, Ring Matthews is in NYC, Robot's in NYC, and Joshua is in Missouri, unfortunately. We're going to finish this. Not NYC, Texas. That's right. Okay. Minkyo is also from, wow, everyone's from NYC. Look at that. The passage indicates that when the narrator began working for Edward Crimsworth, he viewed Crimsworth as a what? Harmless rival, sympathetic ally, perceptive judge, demanding mentor. Well, we know he didn't like him. Let's find when he started working for him. The first time that he mentions his boss. All right. The antipathy, let's see. The antipathy which had sprung up between myself and my employer, striking deeper root and spreading denser shade. Let's see. Does he meet him earlier than that? It doesn't look like it. Yeah, no, it's the first time he meets him. He doesn't really talk about when he actually met him. It's just that there was this darkness and there was this shade. It's an evidence question. Oh, really? Well, if that were true, then there'd be a question you're right, there's evidence. There's evidence right there, so we're going to use this. I'm sorry, Ring Matthews, I let you down, because it's on a different page, so I just decided not to look, and it was a foolish mistake, and I'm very embarrassed. I thought you would have a whiteboard captured by a camera that makes white transparent and overlaid. My father told me he taught to American secret of art writing backwards. Robot, if that was your father, oh my god. He was brilliant, and he somehow knew it all come full circle. No whiteboard. There's a large pane of glass in front of us right now. It's okay. Cool. Anyway, okay, so we can use this evidence here. So lines 28 to 31. Let's see what that says, and this is all in the service of when he began working for him. How did he view him? Okay, so 28 to 31. We've got the antipathy, which had sprung up between myself and my employer, striking deeper root and spreading denser shade daily, excluded me from every glimpse of the sunshine of life. Okay, so it got worse and worse. The antipathy was bad. 38 to 40. My southern accent annoyed him. The degree of education evinced in my language irritated him. My punctuality industry, I think it just ends with him. Okay, that's not really how he views his employer. That's how it seems his employer views him. So that's not going to be it. 54 to 56. That's going to be, day by day did his malice watch my tact, hoping it would sleep and prepared to steal snake-like on its slumber. But tact, if it be genuine, never sleeps. This is more as the further along in the employment. So that's not really the beginning. And then lastly we have 61 to 62. Which is, this is interesting. I had long ceased to regard Mr. Crimsworth as my brother. He was a hard, grinding master. He wished to be an inexorable tyrant, that was all. Interesting. Okay, so if he had long ceased to regard Mr. Crimsworth as his brother, then, yeah, we started a business. We do tutoring as well as this. And tutoring is not for free, whereas this is for free. Because if we just did this for free, we would have no food, which is kind of important in this day and age. Oil prices especially being what they are. So clearly he must have regarded Mr. Crimsworth as his brother, at least in the very beginning. So that right there tells us about when they must have, when he started. What high school do you guys go to? Us? Oh, we already know each other. Obviously, Levi and I are not in high school. So he must have thought of him as a brother, which in this case, perceptive judge, harmless rival. A brother seems to me as like a sympathetic ally, someone who's on your side. You don't think of a brother as a rival. Brother's not necessarily a judge, nor is a brother a demanding mentor. And the evidence for that was this brother thing right here. It's the only one that references how his view on Crimsworth has changed over the course of his employment. He'd long ceased to regard him as a brother, which means there was a time when he did regard him as a brother. Very exciting. Very exciting. Let's see, is the next one an evidence question? We got 3 more questions, Levi. No, this one is not. At the end of the second paragraph, the comparison of abstract qualities to a lynx and a snake mainly have the effect of doing what? So lynx and snake, I believe he was talking about their little chase here. It could never baffle the lynx eyes of these, my natural sentinels. Day by day did his malice watch my tact, hoping it would sleep and prepared to steal snake-like on its slumber. But tact if it's genuine. Okay, so Crimsworth hates the narrator because the narrator is better than him. So he wants to find a fault in the narrator or watch the narrator screw up. But the narrator is not a nationally equitable. The narrator doesn't want to let him find a fault with him. So the narrator is always on guard, always doing everything right, never making a mistake. So the lynx eyes belong to the narrator, and never baffle the lynx eyes. The eyes, it just means that he's constantly aware of what's going on, and he's very sharp. And the snake is in reference to Crimsworth trying to sneak up on him and find him doing something wrong. Okay, so contrasting the 2 hypothetical courses of action, no. These apply to both of these people. Conveying the ferocity of a resolution. What's the resolution? It doesn't matter. Suggesting the likelihood of an altercation. Interesting. We'll see about that. Illustrating the nature of an adversarial relationship. Oh, okay. The likelihood that there's going to be a fight. Maybe a snake and a lynx would fight, but there doesn't seem to be a fight, that there's going to actually be a fight between them. Illustrating the nature of an adversarial relationship. Yeah, like a snake is definitely an enemy. A lynx... What kind of an animal is a lynx, Levi?
Some sort of foxy type of deal.
It's like a foxy kind of situation.
A cat.
Yeah, so it's almost like you've got these 2 competing animals that he's just using to explain what their relationship is like. You got some guy who's always trying to sneak up on the other guy, and the other one who's always watching. So there's no fight coming, even though they hate each other. But it's just how each of them acts in the relationship. All right, last 2 questions. We have an evidence question here, so we want to use this evidence to answer this one. The passage indicates that after a long day of work, the narrator sometimes found his living quarters to be what? And his living quarters, let's see, 17 to 21. Start with that. And we're almost done with this. Oh, man, it doesn't say the line numbers on this. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So 17 to 21 says, here we go. What was the answer? To which one? Where's the mouse? Here it is. Which question, Ring Matthews? To number 8, it's D. Adversarial means enemies. If you have an adversary, that's your enemy. Okay, he found his living quarters to be what? Just now. What do you mean just now? Oh, like the one we just did? I don't know. Yes. So 17 to 21, we're asking about his living quarters. I should have pent in every side by which my heart might have ventured into. This has nothing about his living quarters. Next piece of evidence. 21 to 23, I should with my lodgings. 21 to 23, I should have set up the image of duty, the fetish of perseverance in my small bedroom at Mrs. King's lodgings. Okay, that's more metaphorical. He should have, kind of worshipped duty and perseverance in his bedroom, as though like those are kind of his idols, and that's what he should have been trying to emulate, but he wasn't doing that. Okay, so it's not going to be that one. 64 to 67, let's see what that is. Thoughts, not varied but strong, occupied my mind. 2 voices spoke within me. Okay, this is not about his lodgings. The very last one will be about his lodgings, which is 68 to 74. 68 to 74. I walked fast, for it was a cold, frosty night in January. As I approached my lodgings, ding, 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 I turned from a general view of my affairs to the particular speculation as to whether my fire would be out. Looking towards the window of my sitting room, I saw no cheering red gleam. So he is not sure if his fire is going to be out, but it ends up being out. Okay, so it's definitely going to be D, because that's the one that talks about his attitude towards his lodgings. And treacherous. It's not dangerous, so that doesn't make sense. Dreary. Dreary means sad and gloomy. I like that. Predictable. Well, the fact is he didn't know whether his fire was going to be out or not. He didn't know. He thought there's a chance that it might be still firing, but it ended up not being. If it was predictable, he would have known that the fire was going to be out. Intolerable, we don't get the sense that he can't tolerate his lodgings. He can tolerate his lodgings. He just can't tolerate his job or his boss. So dreary is actually the answer to this one, Ring Matthews. It's going to be B. Because it's not predictable because he's not sure if there's going to be a fire. But it is very sad because it's dark and gloomy. And there's no red, cheery glow is what he used. He said, I saw no cheering red gleam. So if there's no cheer, then it's sad, and that's gloomy. Or is that the word? Anyway, yes, dreary. That's going to be it for reading. Woo! Robot Dancer's questions.
Very good.
Didn't he predict that the fire doesn't work? Hold on.
No.
He wondered. I got this.
Yep.
I got this.
Yep.
I turn from a general view of my affairs to the particular speculation as to whether my fire would be out. Speculating means wondering. He's wondering whether his fire would be out. So he doesn't know. He didn't know what dreary means as well. Yeah, something is drab and dreary and dark and gloomy and sad and just makes you want to just curl up in a small ball, try to turn into a sphere, and then just roll around as a sphere.
Right.
Yep.
You got more
Talk about
robot
all
dancer
that.
stuff? Oh, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me just,
Get rid of that thing. So hey, there's this blue thing in the corner. You know what? Here we go. Ready? Ready? You come back. We're gonna jump. You're gonna just inward to the front. On 3. 1, 2, 3. How many times has this happened to you? You're at school and you're not sure what you have to do to study that day.
So you ask Alta Ipsum.
And then Alta Ipsum gives you the perfect study schedule because you programmed it to.
Yeah, and how much do you pay?
For a month, nothing.
Nothing. How much are you paying right now?
Everything.
What have you lost up until this point in your life? Everything.
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 Because you're not getting Alta Ipsum for the same price that you would be getting Alta Ipsum for a month.
There is no cheering red gleam in your life.
What are you doing?
Without Alta Ipsum.
What are you doing?
Don't blame them. Don't.
So,
blame
I'm sorry.
them.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. You're
That's
right.
how you lose viewers.
Sorry. I like the viewers. I don't want to lose them.
Don't lose them, Bird.
I don't want to lose them.
Okay, we're doing
We gotta finish it. It's a program. You have your computer, your smartphone, and you get to plug in what you have to study, your grades. You get to track things. You set goals, and it tells you tonight study Spanish for 20 minutes. It puts together schedules. It's all sorts of fun, and it lets Yeah,
I mean, everything he said is true. Don't distrust that. Brady's a tutor. You got to trust him.
Yeah. Tutor, trust me. Same with Levi. That's why I trust Levi so much. He's also a tutor.
Yeah, everybody you trust is a tutor.
Yeah.
Because tutor in Greek means...
Alta Ipsum.
Right, and Alta Ipsum in Latin means...
Greek.
And Greek in Greek means...
Duh.
That's very ridiculous. Okay, I don't enjoy these questions at all. Hey, Robot Dancer. Are you still here, Robot? Can you say hi real quick? I don't like doing this like this. Whatever. Robot, are you still here? We'll do your questions. If not, we won't. We'll do other stuff. I don't know what question you want here. Ring Matthews. Hey, tomorrow can we talk about writing the essay and analyzing the passage for rhetorical strategies? Yes. That's connected to a graph. You're right, that's why I'm having trouble. So let's take a look, see at the graph real quick. Ew. Okay. So we got a bit of a graph here.
Just a bit of a graph.
Just a small graph. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So we got this graph. So it says during, oh boy, this is ugly. During mineral formation, the same chemical compound can become different minerals depending on the temperature and pressure at the time of formation. Sure. So a chemical compound becomes different minerals depending on factors that are temperature and pressure. Great. A phase diagram is a graph that shows the conditions that are needed to form each mineral. The graph above is a portion of the phase diagram for aluminosilicates, which the temperature T in degrees Celsius on the horizontal axis and the pressure P in gigapascals on the vertical axis, not to be confused with GPA of grade point average. Okay, so here's our graph. What do we think about it? This is actually a very cool graph. So it's basically saying if you're in any of these regions, you're going to have, your compound will be that mineral. So kyanite, sillimanite, and andalusite, and andalusite, I don't know. So here's our stuff. Okay, now let's go to the actual question. Which one do we want to do here again? You want both? Or is this not both? What do you want? What do you want? I'm gonna have to redo this later, but whatever. Okay, so let's read the first question. An equation of the boundary line between the that one and that one is approximated by the equation above. What is the meaning of the t-intercept of this line? Okay. So the t-intercept, yeah, well, I guess I'll go back. Sorry, I'm going to be looking off screen for this because I probably can't do this any other way. The t-intercept, we're separating the bottom right two, and it's that line that separates them. What is the t-intercept? What does that represent? It's at 760, 0. So the temperature is 760 degrees Celsius, and the pressure in gigapascals is 0. So what does that point represent? Okay, we don't have to know off the top of our head what they're looking for because they give us answers. So we have, it is the maximum temperature at which sillimanite can form. Ooh, okay. So I forget, if sillimanite is that bottom one, then yes, that's the maximum temperature, because any higher temperature, we can't be that bottom one anymore. So is it the max temperature of the sillimanite? No, it's not. It's the max temperature of the andalusite, right? Because the andalusite, if we get any hotter, we can't be that mineral anymore. So it's not the maximum of the sillimanite. It's also not the minimum of the sillimanite. The minimum of the sillimanite is that point kind of in the center of the graph, which is 500, 0.38. So A is wrong. Let's go to B. It is the temperature at which both the two can form when there is no pressure applied. Ah, I like that. How do you know the t-intercept is 760, 0? It's labeled on the graph, and any intercept, so it's called the t-intercept. That's where we intercept the t-axis, right? So it's like the y-intercept or the x-intercept. It's just in this case we have t and then we have GPA, I think, right? So t here, GPA here, so our t-intercept will be that point because our t value is 760, it seems, and then the other value is 0, which means that you're at an intercept because your y direction variable, or GPA in this case, is 0. Can you quickly do number 16 from Robot, please? Yeah, let me just finish this one and then we'll go on to that one.
It's 9:34, by the way.
Oh, it's also 9:34. So yes, we can do that right after we do number whatever we're on, 23. So I like B because it's the temperature at which both of these can form when there is no pressure applied. That's true. There is no pressure because we have 0 GPa because we are doing the t-axis. So I like B. Maybe something's wrong with it, but we'll come back if necessary. It is the increase in the number of degrees Celsius needed to remain on the boundary. Whoa, okay, I need to start over. It's the increase. I immediately don't like that. Why? We got to do 24. Okay. I don't like that we're talking about the t-intercept and then it talks about the increase of something. Intercepts are not increases, probably. So I dislike C immediately. It is the increase in the number of degrees Celsius needed to remain on the boundary between undulicite and sillimanite, and if the pressure is reduced by... No. That, they're talking about slope. C is talking about slope. That's no good. D. It is the decrease. Okay, again, it's probably talking about slope, so D is wrong. B is the correct answer in this one because we're right on the edge of either. We can be either one, but it's also saying that the GPA is 0. That's true. So, 23 is B. 24, real quick. Which of the following systems of inequalities best describes the region where sillimanite can form? Okay, well, we already have that top equation from 23. And sillimanite is the right-hand one. So we have that one here, right? And then it's got to be greater than that. So P has to be greater than that. So P has to be greater than negative 0.0... What? It's weird to me that the given equation in 23 is different from any of the inequalities. We have plus 1.11 instead of plus 0.1 or plus 0.113 or whatever. That's odd. I would think that A and D are both wrong because A doesn't have the equation from 23, so that doesn't make sense to me. And D has the equation, but they've made it P is less than or equal to instead of greater than or equal to. It needs to be less than or it needs to be greater than or equal to. And then we have slightly different equations for B and C. And we would just need to figure out which line is represented by that on the graph. Let me know if that's enough of an explanation for you for number 24. I'm going to hop to number 16. Is this 16? No. Is this 16? No. Is this 16? Yes. Ooh, fun. Oh, nice sizing as well. Why is it not a 5, 12, 13 triangle? Well, it seems like someone kind of just wrote that in. That 5 is given, it looks like, right? Okay, triangles ABC and DEF are above are similar. How much longer than segment EF is segment DE? Yeah, okay, I figured that. It's not a 5, 12, 13 triangle because you don't get to decide that. These are, so the bigger triangle, ABC, 20, 21, 29, that's a special right triangle. And 5, 12, 13 is also a special right triangle.
Pythagorean triplet.
Sorry, Pythagorean triplet. But they're not similar, so you don't get to say, well, because I see that DF is 5, that is given. I don't get to just say, hey, I know 5, 12, 13. So that's not okay to do. So what you have to do is just make your proportion. So you have, we're trying to find segment, we need to find DE and EF. So we have 29, 21, and 20. And then we have DE, and 21 goes to EF, and then 20 goes to 5. Yes, no assumptions, just look, yeah, robot answer, that's absolutely right. So this is going to be equal to 4 over 1, right? This is our ratio here. So we just need to divide the top pieces by 4 to get the bottom pieces. So DE equals 29 over 4, and EF equals 21 over 4. And the question is, what is the difference? How much longer is segment EF than segment DE? Well, it's not. Oh no, how much longer than segment EF is DE? So we'll just do subtraction here. We get 8 over 4, which is 2, and 2 is the answer. Okay, that is all. Tomorrow we'll be streaming again, and we will be streaming for longer than normal, correct, Bird?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be streaming for longer than normal. Come with specific questions. Come with
Friends.
your friends and family. Yeah. Have a lovely evening. We will see you. Also, you know what? You guys are so... Oh, stop it. Hey, Bird, you're being called.
What? What happened?
What happened?
Ring Matthews just says Bird. So that's you.
I'm a bird.
Yeah.
I was birthed by an egg that came from birds.
Yeah. That's how it happens.
And I someday will
Return to the egg.
return to the egg, as we all do.
We all do.
We're gonna go to bed now.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You should too.